Okay, I am going to try, and I emphasize try, because I'm going to try to encapsulate or share the nuggets from what my guest Suzanne Michelle shared on episode 109 of Enhancing the Human Experience with you. There was a lot in that podcast, and I'm going to try to unpack it a little bit for you. Of course, what I say is not a substitution for what she said. I just know that you're busy, and in this episode of On the Go, I'm going to try to give you the kernels and the nuggets and really a glimpse of what you can expect in that episode to help you discover whether you want to invest the time to listen to it. Suzanne is a transformation and intuitive guide. Let's start there. And when we talked initially and she shared about her work, I was really interested because I think it was 2015 or 2016, intuition was my word of the year. Have you done this? When you focus on a certain, idea or concept you want to develop more. And that was my concept for 2017. And so her being an intuition coach, I thought that was really great. And so I wanted her to come on the podcast to talk about that, but also to talk about her new project, her collaboration with Jess Maitri, which is Rise Journeys. And we talk about that in the episode. That's her project where she partnered with, Jess is a counselor, and they're really bridging the gap between traditional psychology and energy work. And you can learn more about their work on risejourneys.com, the website, which I also have a link below, in the show notes at gmarkphillips.com. You can check out. But so in the episode 109, Suzanne Michelle, she talks about intuition, the fact that we're all intuitive. We simply need to develop that intuition. That intuition is an inner kind of a game, as opposed to the five senses are what's going on outside, sight, smell, touch, taste, those kind of things. But she talks about the inner sense, right? Inner sight, inner smell, inner feel. And that's the intuition game that, that's like the sixth sense, is this intuition, this inner kind of a knowing kind of a thing. That's one of the things she explained and kind of unpacked a little bit in the episode. But what I found was really fascinating. All of her stuff was great. All that knowledge is great. But one of the things that I really tuned into and resonated with me, because I've been here, I've been down that road, is when she's talking about the shadow work and reintegrating aspects of yourself that maybe at a subconscious level you have disowned or put off in the corner and not allowed yourself to be that way or to feel that way or enjoy those kind of things, because maybe at some point in your life prior in your journey you have felt shame or guilt, or someone has imposed shame or guilt on you for being that way, doing those things, liking those things. That's what I was super enthusiastic about. And what happened was she's basically sharing this notion that when you reintegrate those aspects of yourself and make them a part of you again, you become a whole person again. She stresses early in the episode that we come in whole, right? We come in perfect and whole and complete, and we fragment ourselves or disintegrate ourselves as we go through life. And that's a real problem, because in order to have full self-expression, as you can imagine, we have to be fully integrated. And that's what I thought was really fascinating about her and Jess's work. And again, like I said, you can find more out about their work at Rise Journeys, that's journeys with an S.com. Again, the link's beneath the show notes on my website, gmarkphillips.com. But I was super interested in this because let's talk about why their work is important. And this is where it comes back to what I'm saying. I've had experience with this, and this is one of the things that I feel that meditation, specifically transcendental meditation in my case, all forms of meditation are beneficial. I happen to learn transcendental meditation, and that helped me overcome some of these repeating patterns of behavior. She calls them looping patterns of behavior, that like something triggers you emotionally in your interaction with another person, friend, loved one, boss, whatever, coworker, and it triggers an emotional response from you that you do, even though it's not beneficial and not something you would normally like consciously do. It's not something conscious, it's unconscious, deep level. So what she was saying really resonated with me because I've done that, right? I've been in those situations. And one of the things that I credit me for overcoming that, helping me overcome that, is meditation. But their work addresses that problem as well. See, in the game of life, as you know, there's a lot of ways to come at something. Now, not all those ways are equally beneficial, but there's a lot of ways to approach, healing yourself and reintegrating yourself. Their work happens to be one of those ways, and I'm definitely interested in learning more about their type of work and continuing this conversation with Michelle at different points in time, because I see the huge value there. You know that? It just sounds really, really, it rings true with me. Let's put it that way, this reintegration of ourself. So if that's something you're interested in, learning more about becoming whole again and bringing back those aspects of yourself that you have disowned back into your being, back into your person, right, into your identity, and allowing yourself to feel that way or enjoy those things or be that way, I would definitely encourage you to listen to this episode, and I think you'll get a lot out of it, because it seems like that's the bedrock and the foundation of success and approaching life in a full integrated way and being successful in all areas of our lives. Because if you're disintegrated or fragmented as a being and you've disowned part of yourself, that means you're not going to be able to show up fully in relationships. You're not going to be able to show up fully at work. You're not going to be able to be a whole person. And as we know, if you're fragmented, if there's any aspect of ourselves that isn't fully online or that we're shameful of or lives in the shadow, we keep in the shadow, that's going to be a problem, because you're not bringing your full presence and your full being into what you're doing. I call it like full spectrum living. I've talked about this with other guests on my podcast. The one that comes to mind is Trentimus Briggs, when we talked about, his work with men and allowing them to have those full spectrum and experience the full spectrum of emotion and being in the world. If you only know a small slice, you're missing out on some of those ends of the spectrum. And in order to have the full experience of life and become like a fully self-realized being, we need that full spectrum aspect. So that's my humble attempt to try to encapsulate in just a few minutes what Suzanne Michelle was talking about in episode 109. If that's something you're interested in, definitely go listen to it, because I can't do justice to her work like she can, right? So I just want to give you this little snippet and kind of unpack that a little bit to share what you can expect if you wanted to listen to the episode, if you were interested in that episode. All right, thanks so much. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, all the best. Health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.